Hello, everyone. This is Cliff Duvenois, and this is my journey to impact 1 million people. Welcome to episode 5. I certainly hope that you guys are enjoying this beautiful weekend. I wanted to share a story with you, something I talked about the other day when I was mentioning about for my LinkedIn project, having the ability of small businesses to share their story with the right people. So what I want to do is I want to take a trip back in time to roughly about 2005. I read Robert Kiyosaki's book probably about 2002, 2003, and he got me super excited about being in real estate and buying real estate, right? And I spent 3 years researching everything about it, telling everybody that would listen, yeah, I'm going to be a real estate investor. Anyways, I never pulled the trigger, never made it. So finally, one day I got sick of it and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I went out and I bought my first duplex. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any clue how to manage tenants. The tenants that were there didn't speak a lot of English. But when I told them that I was going to have to raise the rent, they didn't want to pay it. One of the guys in the back, one of them was like a wannabe gangbanger or something. My nickname for him was 40 ouncer because every time I went over there, he was drinking a 40 ouncer. Then he would want to fight me. So anyways, there's all this stuff that was going on. I was trying to renovate the property because it was like the worst one on the block, and I wanted to make it the best house. So every single day there was like some kind of a new challenge that was going on. At the same point in time, like my biggest cheering section, like my friends and my family were like emailing me and calling me. This was before text messaging. At least before I was text messaging anyways, but they were all the time like, hey, Cliff, what's going on today? What's the new adventure that's happening today, right? Did 40 ouncer try to get in a fight with you again? I mean, it was constant, right? So what I would do is I would write this like generic email up and then I would just send it out to people because I knew that they were going to ask. So I'm just going to send this email out to them, so that way they wouldn't have to, because literally I would spend like all day, right? Like trying to keep people up to date. And I didn't, I had a full-time job. And then when I get done with that full-time job, I would, roll over to, the duplex, and I was working on it over there. So at the same point in time, I'm really like stressed out and, and I was trying to like fight this battle like every single day. And somebody mentioned to me about blogging. They're like, why don't you share your stories on a blog? And I had no idea what a blog was, never heard of a blog before. But I said, you know what, let me do some research. And sure enough, there's like these blogging platforms that were out there. The one that I was looking at the time was something called TypePad. And it looked like it was pretty easy. You just sign up for an account. You pay like $10 a month. You can publish as often as you want, which for me at that time was like once a day. So, but the thing is that I knew that I wasn't a writer. I hadn't really written anything in like years. And when I would write something, it was just, for myself, but I wasn't a writer. I didn't know anything about blogging or, if it would even work. But the more important thing is that, it had to be easy for my mom to use, because my mom was like every single day was like sending me an email saying, Cliff, what's going on? Cliff, what's going on? So I wanted to make sure that she could get on the internet and that she could read the story as well. Thank you, Sherry. Love my enthusiasm too. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to have to do this. I got the blog. I got it started up because I really did want to keep everybody up to date. I mean, all of my friends, all of my family, they were like, they were rooting for me this whole time. So I wanted to keep them in the loop. But also, too, I thought this might be a cool way to document my journey of becoming a real estate investor. Like, what was the day-to-day stuff that I had to, endure, and, with a tenant that wanted to beat me up every single time that I showed up over there, and ask them, where's the rent? Because I guess paying rent is a foreign concept to them. Who knows? So anyways, my plan, start a blog, super simple. Let's just get my story out there so people can read it. If they contact me, I'll just send them to the blog. There you go. So anyways, the problem, I'll have to admit, my first posts were really bad. And I am a tough critic of my own work. To be perfectly honest with you, I really am. But back then, like I said, I hadn't written anything, and I was writing these posts, and my English, my grammar was really bad. I don't know how I communicated anything, but for some reason people stuck with it. But also too, these hecklers were finding me online. So they were all the time, they were, oh, look at this, this poor guy and his problems with his duplex. And he's complaining because he's going to make all this money and all this other stuff, and it was like, it was really disheartening. But the thing is, what I didn't get at the time. But the people who really mattered, those were the ones that I was really writing the stories for. The people that, like I said, my friends and my family, but also because I was publishing day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. What happened was all these other people out there started to find my blog. So at one point in time, when I was like trying to track statistics for it, I probably had about 150 people a day that were reading my blog. And if I didn't publish a story, because I was publishing like every morning at like 7 o'clock, and if I did not get a story out by like 7:05, I would get like 10, 20, 30 emails from people saying, hey, Cliff, are you okay? Did 40 ouncer put a cap in your ass, and all these other things. And, I was like, dude, just give me a minute. I overslept, or I'm hungover, or, I passed out because of paint fumes. Who knows, So, but anyways, it was really nice that I had all these people that were like, it was like a built-in audience, and they really cared about what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. And I never thought about monetizing it. It was never my plan to like try to put Google AdWords on there and generate all this revenue and, live large off that money. But at the same point in time, like when I talked about the other day, when I wrote a book, I was like, this blog would be the perfect platform for it, because I had a lot of people on there who were either in real estate investing or thinking about being in real estate investing. So if I put my book out there, that's kind of like I got a built-in audience, right? So I said to myself, you know what, let's just do this. So, as I shared the story the other day, I wrote the book, I put it on the website. I telling everybody in blog posts that I was working on it. People were super excited. They're like, yay, can't wait for the book. And so I published the book and I got it out there, and I sold 4 copies. And that was a letdown. Now, I didn't have any expectation that this was going to become a New York Times bestseller, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I only sold 4 copies of the book. And I actually considered that to be a failure, right? I was like, great, I did all this work. Once again, something failed. But what I didn't realize in hindsight, and to me, I'd have to go back and slap 2005 Cliff and say, you are a friggin' moron. I had 150 people that were tuning in every single day on my website. And out of those 150 people, 4 bought my book. So what if I had 1,000 people? How many copies of my book would I have sold then, right? What if I had 10,000 people, right? Could I sold 400 copies of my book? The thing is that your message isn't going to resonate with everybody, but you need to get your message out in front of other people. That's why I'm such a huge advocate for the one-to-many form of communication. And if you think about it on social media, this is something that we do like every single day. Like every time that I go out on social media, people are posting about things that their kids are doing, or I've got a doctor's appointment or anything else. And everybody always practices this one-to-many communication, so that way they don't have to tell the entire world through all these text messages or emails what's going on. And it's the same thing with business. People don't do that for the business. They don't make that leap and say, hey, you know what? I need to practice one-to-many communication for my business as I do in my personal life. And that's why through, my LinkedIn project, it's a matter of finding the right people to get your message, to get your story out in front of, so that way you can resonate and build that connection with them and be able to grow your business. Anyways, I just wanted to share that story with you. Thank you once again for paying attention. For all of you that have joined today, I really do appreciate that. I will be back tomorrow with another story. Enjoy the rest of your day.